We are looking forward to SONA in a matter of days now, no more weeks, no? Is that so? Okay, let me allow people to have something. We don't have a lot of time.
If Mr. Julius Malema rises on a point of order or to ask you a question, it hasn't been done for 20 years, but there is no law, a rule saying that it can't be done. Thank you.
I listen to the Speaker, what the Speaker will say. If anybody rises on a point of order and the Speaker determines in terms of the rules, I don't think there is anything extraordinary. I think what is important is that all members of Parliament should act honorably by being ready to be directed by the Speaker. Parliament operates on the rules. So you can't say if a particular person says something, I will do this. You can't decide that. The Speaker will decide. If, for example, the Speaker thought that the question was within the rules, the Speaker will make the ruling. So whatever. In Parliament, you go there without knowing exactly what members will rise and ask, unless you have questions first. If the questions are not written, the Speaker deals with the matter as it arises. So that will be the matter of the Speaker.
Can I ask, are you nervous at what might happen?
I've never been nervous in my life.
Thank you.
Never.
What is the government's plan of action to make sure that we fight this crime scourge, and what can we as ordinary South Africans and the media specifically do to reclaim our streets from these criminal gangs? And on a broader scale, what's happening at the Hawks, the NPA, SARS, I would imagine gives you a bit of sleepless nights, Mr. President?
I think insofar as the crime in general is an ongoing work. This country has a particular history that has influence in how the question of the crime is. And I think there are plans and activities undertaken insofar as how we deal with crime. I think at a given time, the police always give the report, whether the crime is growing or not growing. That is an issue that particularly the security cluster spends a lot of time working towards achieving. With regard to the matters of the institutions that are working there, that have got some trouble, I think in any country, you don't want structures like Hawks or SARS to have problems. And therefore, anytime you have problems there, you have to be worried. But I think people are dealing with those matters. It's no matter that is above interacting and acting upon to deal with, I think. And of course, you know, the SIU in particular was because of specific reasons that the leader there resigned. I think then we have to see how you again produce a leader there. I think that's what it's about governance. Governance, you deal with issues every day, and they are different in scale, and they are not the same. It's a question of whether we are able to tackle them or not. So we are working on those, and I think the leaders of those institutions and the ministers are reporting continuously what they are doing. And I think the situation is not out of control. I think it's under control. But as you say, it's always good in a country if you have those institutions operating normally. If there are some bubbles, then it must worry, because it, in a sense, indicates that there are things that need to be dealt with, or there are problems that need to be fixed.
My question is about the concerns in the communities, as we saw in Soweto, with the looting and attacks of the businesses owned by foreign nationals. How is the government going to address the displacement of local business people in the villages and the townships?
What is our attitude to foreigners? I think our attitude is very good. What's the attitude to us if they come in and do business? Take over business, not by force. Buy them, rent them, and do business. I think it's a matter that we all need to talk about because it affects people out there. I don't think government can just decide to say, look, this is what we decide about you, because it affects everybody. It's a matter we need to look at. If you look beyond and far, we are saying let us remove the borders in the continent so that there's free movement, free doing of business. What do we mean by that? Are we ready for that, or are we not ready for that?
Are you concerned that we could be having an issue about ethnicity in Malamulele?
Our concern was there even before people said something, and I think they've been saying it now, which confirmed our suspicion. It's something that must never be encouraged in the country. We come from very far. Dividing people according to their kind is a dangerous thing, and we think it should not be accepted.
I want to talk about the issue of social cohesion and some of the tensions in our country, and I wondered if it worried you, sir, particularly around racial tensions which appear to be dominating conversations, headlines, bulletins. Is this something that concerns you?
We are equal, whether we come from nationalities, whether small or big, we are equal. The law in this country says so, and we should practice that. Don't want to look at our colors and then understand who we are. We are what we are with our different colors. We believe our diversity are in fact our biggest strength as a rainbow nation.
The head of the NPA, who you appointed, you're now appointing a commission to check whether he's suitable for the post to which you appointed him. The second thing is around Mr. Dramat, or General Dramat.
I don't think I should now comment on matters that are subject to a process that is taking place. And I think even the second one, there is the interaction between the parties. I think it would be not fair for me as a president then to say, look, this is my view on this one and that one. But you'll also realize on the other matter that we have been challenged in the past, having not to say, have you applied your mind? Is this person fit? Matter is not arising for the first time. So it is important for government to look into that matter before there's a challenge, because we've been challenged many times.
Mr. President, I have a pretty just simple question for you. What kind of lessons can the youth learn from your leadership, and why?
I think what they can learn is that if you are young, you can participate in the struggle as young and grow up in the struggle and participate until the struggle or liberation is won. I participated long before I was 20. I think that must be learned by the youth who then have to grow in order to fight. I had an argument with my mother about that. That you can actually work, no matter how people have views. You don't walk away because people have views about you, about what you do. You do what you believe is right, you participate. You don't also get angry with people when they criticize you. I think they must learn from that one. People criticize you not because they hate you, because perhaps they think what you are doing is not right. There may be those that hate you. But as a person, if you are given a national task, do your national task. I think the youth could learn a lot from that.
Do you think your whole cabinet is doing a good job, considering that we have an energy crisis, considering that we have local government difficulties in places, considering that we have a security cluster that's not doing well?
I think as a government, we are doing our best to address the issue of economy. The fact that there is a problem of energy, it's not a new problem. I think, as I said earlier, it's a problem we are dealing with. We've got a very comprehensive plan to deal with this matter, which will solve the problem once and for all. We are dealing with it. We are building huge power stations. We are going to use also for energy, nuclear. These are attempts to correct the past. So that I wouldn't think it could be used as an example that therefore the ministers are failing. We had ministers who were not necessarily us, who believed that electricity was enough when it was not enough. Well, guys, thank you very much. We'll meet again, talk about other matters. I think it has been very useful. We have asked very useful questions, and we'll continue. Thank you very much.
Mr. President, there's an urgent point that your views about where you stand on issues personal and also where government stands on issues on policies. It's important, and we hope that it would cascade into the other levels of state where officials can meet the media and have an open discussion with them. We don't always have to agree. It's not necessary to agree. But it's important to understand where all of us come from. So even when you read my column the other day and you strongly disagree with it, but at least you would know that at least I have told him what I think about this issue. He has decided to disagree with me, but at least he knows. So that's the spirit, and that's the spirit that we think was behind building the country to what it is today, the spirit of national dialogue. And I think that the extent to which we've managed to continue, you should be applauded. As I said, we don't have to agree with you. So just to say thank you from the South African National Editors Forum. We will, somewhere before the end of next year, be hosting our colleagues from all over the continent, African Editors Forum, and we hope that you will come and grace that occasion where you can demonstrate how we interact with you as government. Thank you.
I appreciate your words. We needed to have a conversation about our country, particularly because South Africans, I always say, they are unique in a way. We are the only country that has very politicized population.